Co-creation and collaboration are really the heart of our Fujitsu's innovation strategy. So whether we're collaborating with our customers, with partners in industry or academia, trust is a critical ingredient to the success of that collaboration. And trust is perceived really when all parties have a sense that that there's honesty between us, that there's nobody's going to take advantage of the situation and benefit excessively from that collaboration, and also with the capability, so that there's a high degree of confidence in each party that we can actually deliver what has been promised. Now, some people might say that having a contract in place covers all of that, but really in a joint innovation venture, there can be all sorts of difficulties that arise that a contract just can't account for everything and could actually inhibit the whole process and slow things down. So I think what's really, really important is that the relationships are there. Ultimately, in these sorts of innovation projects, it's about sharing information. And it's those personal relationships that actually drive the trust that privilege is not going to be abused. But I think, just as a final word of caution, too much trust could also dampen the innovation spark. So I think it's important that we don't align too much, have relationships that are too cozy. We want to make sure that we actually continue to challenge one another. And although it might sound a bit counterintuitive, research has actually shown that where you do have too tight a relationship and where you're too much in lockstep, that actually you can lose some of that.
Trust has been declining for over a decade now, and one of the problems that stems from is the rapid change of technology and the continuous development of technology, and it's really become an issue because organisations tend to focus on the reliability of systems rather than the fact that consumers they align their belief systems and their value systems with the companies and the organisations which they get their products and services from. So one of the key elements is that we have to get the trust aspect right. So when we release these technologies into society, in order to get that take-up and to ensure that it's success in the take-up and use of that technology, we have to ensure that the trust aspect and the expectation from the users of those systems and the technologies is aligned with people's values, but also aligned with the companies and the organisations' values that it's projecting out there as well. So that's why trust is really fundamental in allowing that technology to get uptake within society.
Fujitsu have had a lot of engagement with the Cabinet Office, and transparency is one of the core overarching principles, of which the other two are fairness and accountability. Government research has actually shown that there's quite a low level of public awareness and understanding of AI and algorithms. So I think we need to find new ways to communicate with people to help them to understand this new technology. So I think it's important that we don't just invest in the technology itself, but also in the skills to be able to explain this technology to people and educate them. And I think things like the metaverse could actually turn into really good ways to engage people, to help them connect with one another, and also to educate them. In addition to that, I think AI and digital technologies are pervasive in the private sector. We all engage with, to some degree or another, with these types of technologies. So whether that's, through digital marketplaces or through online banking, to some degree, most of us are sharing our data with private companies, and we trust them with that data. And again, government research has actually shown that there's some degree of skepticism in the public that public sector can't really match the levels of technology and the sophisticatedness of the algorithms that they can in the private sector. So, if we can replicate that customer experience in our public services, people will feel more familiar with it and therefore perhaps be a little bit more willing to trust in it. Data privacy is a really hot topic, and as soon as you breach any sort of data privacy, then not only does trust go out the window, but you actually are at risk of penalties from breaking the regulations that are set by a given country that you're operating in. So that's really, really important, of course, how we address that. Ideally, we would have a common set of standards that are implemented and also independently regulated. And I think it would be really beneficial to users to be able to transparently see, how trustworthy any particular service is through an online rating scheme. I think another way is through just giving people time to adopt and absorb the new technology. I mean, we've seen recently how at real scale things like Zoom meetings have been adopted, not just by young people or people at work, but also older members of the community, and that's been a vital lifeline. So explaining to people the benefits that they can get from using the technology, but also taking the time to support them in adopting it is really, really critical as well. So I think having that, having really, really intuitive, easy to use user interfaces is another way that we can really sort of push the use of these technologies.
I'm really passionate about Fujitsu's purpose. I don't think it's words, I think it's fundamental to what we do in Fujitsu. And I've been at Fujitsu a long time, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in that in terms of what we do as an organisation, having a real impact on society. But actually, without Fujitsu running this mission critical systems today and enabling that for the future through digital innovation, that isn't just running some technology, that is fundamentally enabling us to have a trusted society that we can all operate in. All the areas around AI ethics, where we're doing some great work with our research team with Oxford University, for example. There are all sorts of areas that influence that through innovation. And I think it's great to be able to take a step back from the technical details and think about what does a trusted society really mean. If we've got the right aims, we've got the right culture together in terms of our aspirations and beliefs, then we can achieve so much more as part of our working ecosystem together.
There are a number of huge problems that are facing us in the world and in society in general, and I believe very passionately that as a technology company that we can bring our innovation and our technologies to bear to help understand those problems and also to help to fix them. But we can't do it alone. We do have to work with partners in industry, in academia, and also with our customers. And as I've said already, trust is a real vital ingredient to making that work. And if we can bring that trust together, that will help us to solve the world's most complex problems. But of course, again, just that word of warning, we need to keep the innovation spark alive, and it's so important that we have that atmosphere of healthy conflict and challenge so that we can create the best solutions for everyone.